After a summer filled with legacy truck racing, it's about time we figure out who will be a champion. And to crown a champion, 150 laps of racing stand in our way. Welcome back for the final time in its inaugural season, the Prodigy Racing Association SimPulse Legacy Truck Series. And with it, Milwaukee Mile, the host for the final event this season, the Championship 150, with 4 drivers left in contention. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and it's great to return for the final time this season. It's been jam-packed with excitement from the beginning at Daytona to the point we are here today after our last race at Thompson. One of our longest races on the schedule tonight will be with 150 miles coming at you, and now, of course, with only 4 drivers left in the championship picture, 1 will walk away with the title and 3 will go home empty-handed. Qualifying is on the move right now, and drivers are once again in a single car qualifying state. Last week we tried out the group qualifying for the first time this season. We have 7 minutes and 30 seconds left on the timing sheet, and it's currently going to be Corey Lyles up to the head of the board. He's a championship contender, and he's looking to take home the crown tonight as an inaugural title winner. Lyles right now going to find himself in first. Aaron Schugel going to be second, and it looks like the JFR Championship contenders are once again quickly first and second on the pylon. Title favorites are of course going to be Lyles and Schugel based on the wonderful seasons they've put together, but don't count out third and fourth in the championship coming into the night, because Jake Raven just took it up to the pole position in the most important race of the season, and the 37 is on top of the charts. Let's see now if he can hold it on. 30 thousandths of a second, and Jake might be able to come away with his first pole position. It looks like he was quicker both times than Schugel and Lyles, and Raven just put forth his fastest lap of the session, and Jake is now going to be on the pole position with the chance to win the championship, and an underdog shoots immediately up to the top of the board to open up the night. Caden Perkins right now, the number 54, finding himself in the 4th position. Cameron Albertson, the final driver in the championship battle, is 7th as it stands, and not going to have the best opening lap. His second lap is going to be a big improvement, but it looks like not enough to make a big difference. He's going to be 6th as it stands. Caden Perkins finds himself in 4th. Jake Raven, though, with a pole position, provisional anyway, that could be the most important pole of the season here. 150 laps ahead of us, but Raven is one of the backup drivers in the Final 4 today. Now is a chance to win the title, and with it, it looks like he just took the pole position with ease. And so, 5 minutes and 40 seconds left. Drivers still have time to set forth on the track. However, nobody else has decided to go onto the circuit just yet. We are waiting now for Shannon Milligan, Thomas Coonan, and Kyle Heath. Kyle is a first-time driver in the series, stepping into the seat, of course, in the number 31 tonight. It is his first start, and it's coming in the season finale here for our inaugural campaign. Nevertheless, Kyle will have an opportunity, as will Coonan and Shannon Milligan, to head out to the track, however, none of which have decided to go out there so far. We have a little bit of time until the racing gets started here in Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee Mile is the place to be. 150 laps and 150 miles. That's what's on the agenda, and this circuit, the Mile, we've been to many a time with the Truck Series, and you look at the screen right now, the Road to Pro calendar. We just went to the circuit about a week and a half ago. Ethan Lane took the checkered flag in Milwaukee. Even the best of drivers have to navigate through the Milwaukee Mile to find success at the pro sim racing level. Here's a little look at the Milwaukee Mile in itself. Mile-long circuit, 4 turns, and it's been in operation for more than 100 years. Now, in this configuration, the Mile has existed since the middle of the 1950s, and it's been that way ever since. Local short track racing, we've seen a return with the ARCA Menard Series and the NASCAR Truck Series as of late. Open wheel racing as well has been especially common in decades past. The Milwaukee Mile is a very versatile circuit which has seen Indycar action, NASCAR, of course, Truck Series, ARCA, and at one point even the NASCAR Nationwide, or Busch Series as it was called at that time. And now, of course, getting that opportunity in the national stage, It's also sim racing, where the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying circuit goes, and the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, all of which who have made their mark on this track before and are due to do so again tonight in the most important race in the PRA Championship. Now, drivers are still effectively locked into their spots in qualifying. Milligan, Coonan, and Kyle Heath all do not look to be too interested in going out on the track, and the conditions have remained relatively constant. It's quite foggy, as you can see. However, that's not going to be the worst of concerns for drivers tonight. They might have to focus more on the track conditions for tires. Now, 69 degrees Fahrenheit overall, going to be very mild in that regard. Winds are going to be southwest bound at about 12 miles an hour as it stands, and that could change because for the time being, it looks like track temperature 86 Fahrenheit, and the wind not going to be helping to cool anything down. Mostly cloudy skies and a relative humidity of 97%, so it's humid, and that's what keeps the track warm. And the weather going to play into this race for all 150 laps. One of our longest races on the calendar, as was just a few weeks ago, Gateway, which went down for 160 some laps, and that race overall was longer in mileage and, of course, in race length. And overall, it was going to be Aaron Schugel, Corey Lyles with a chance to fight each other for the win. Lyles got involved in that very first incident. Nevertheless, JFR able to take home the checkered flag and come out with another full-on championship seed. Lyles, Schugel, both have been winners in this championship hunt, and now it comes down to which one of them is the better driver, and that's what everyone has their mind on. Who is going to be the driver that gets it done tonight? Jake Raven, with that improbable pole position, of course, is going to be stealing the spotlight. Now, of course, will that be a long-term move to stay up there, or is that about the best that Jake has? That remains to be seen. Still, 3 drivers have decided not to go onto the circuit: Shannon Milligan, Thomas Coonan, and Kyle Heath. 10 drivers have registered for tonight's event, and all 10 of which are looking to go from flag to flag tonight. We remember that in, of course, our event at Gateway, it only came down to about 6 drivers at the very end. Attrition playing a very important role in that race, and that dissuaded some drivers from coming back for Thompson or tonight, knowing that the championship battle comes down to so few drivers. Although, the backups tonight, who weren't in the top 4 to begin with, are getting a chance to go for the title regardless. Chris Mullins and Rodney Roberts came into the championship picture 3rd and 4th. However, looks like now it'll be Jake Raven and Cameron Albertson going forward. Thomas Coonan sitting on the outside bubble, so unfortunately, he will not have a chance to go out there and battle for the title alongside those who have a chance to get the championship tonight. Final moments here as qualifying concludes. Waiting, of course, for drivers to get on the starting grid in just a few moments. And Jake Raven, it appears, has won your pole position for tonight's race. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's event as it looks to be fully complete. Up on top is going to be Jake Raven inside of row number 1. And, of course, alongside him, Corey Lyles. Jake is going to grab the pole position, his first of the season and the most important of the campaign. Let's get to know the rest of the starting grid with Jake Raven, your official pole sitter. Then from there, you're going to have Aaron Schugel, who finds himself starting tonight in the 3rd position. Schugel, of course, a driver who's gotten multiple race victories this season and coming off the back of the most recent race we ran at Thompson, in which he was able to score the checkered flag in a short track showdown where, simply put, Schugel was dominant. We'll see what he can do tonight as he's going to be alongside Caden Perkins, and Caden finds himself in position number 4. So, not a bad place to start for Perkins, who's not in the championship battle. All things considered, though, we should see Caden going at it there for a top 5 spot tonight. Then you got Aaron Fontaine, who's going to be in P5, and Cameron Albertson, who will then and there be in 6th. Albertson is the final of the 4 drivers eligible for the championship tonight based on the backup rule. He will be with us here fighting for a title. Then you have Trevor Gill and Kyle Heath. Kyle, first-time driver, making his way in for what will be his first start of the campaign, and looking, of course, for a successful debut. Kyle is, and hopefully he'll have a chance to come through a little bit more than just a top 10. Thomas Coonan will be on race control tonight, so the final of our 9 drivers who is registered and ready to go. That will be Shannon Milliken, and number 17 on the outside of row 5 will be the lonely man on that row all by himself. Looking to see whether or not he can move up the field as Trevor Gill, Kyle Heath, and Thomas Coonan alike are all not on the starting grid, which may leave us with 7 drivers due to start this race here in Milwaukee. That's your starting grid for tonight's race, the Championship 150, and 3 of your title contenders line up first, second, and third right alongside each other on the start-finish line, and Jake Raven, of course, is the man with the advantage, hoping to lead them through to the start-finish line to open up the night. Jake Raven in the best spot he's been in perhaps all season long to win a race, and that comes from the virtue of having that pole position. Multi-time podium sitter so far on the campaign. Raven has not yet broken out to race-winning status, but if he does so tonight, the championship would be his, and perhaps the underdog of underdogs who has not yet been able to make it happen for a first-place finish. He's going to be starting on the front row alongside the juggernauts of JFR, and he's looking to get the job done tonight and defy the expectations of all those in the field. One final pace lap. And the field goes green for what could be the final time in this season. As it stands now, Jake Raven going to be leading with Corey Lyles right alongside. Then, of course, you got Aaron Schugel and company there. 3 of your championship drivers starting up inside the top 4. And Cameron Albertson not too far behind, just within the confines of the top 5 himself. It's going to be all about who's the best tonight. It is a best finisher wins format, much like the modern NASCAR playoffs. So if you get it done here, this title is yours. Jake Raven looking to get the championship done for his own team. JFR, they've got 2 drivers who are equally capable of getting it all in the championship if they win tonight. The iRacing official pace car will go down a pit road and let Raven and Corey Lyles lead the field to the start-finish line for the final time this season. We are green in Milwaukee, and Aaron Schugel goes 3 wide, takes the race lead, and Jake Raven gets shuffled down the order. Talk about a quick early run up there for the JFR duo. They're going to put Caden Perkins up in 3rd. Jake Raven falls back now in a 4th. 8 drivers took the green flag. Shannon Milliken now the last of which in the number 17. So a good majority of the field that registered is going. Yellow flags out already for Trevor Gill. Caution will fly on lap 2. Single car spin in the back. And so we are pacing to kick off the night. Already it looks like trouble. Let's take a look back now and see what caused it. Although it looks like it must have been the number 9 machine spinning around alone, unless maybe he had a little bit of help in 1 and 2. So going through the first 2 corners here, Trevor bumped, it looked like, the apron and caught a little bit of the curb and then slid down. That's your yellow flag. Everyone else gets away, and it looks like that's a safety yellow to kick off the night. And again, an early yellow flag, 3 laps in out of 150. And so we are once more going to be pacing to kick off the night. Now, yellow flags out for the first time this season, of course, at Milwaukee. Not a track we've been to before. However, originally it was planned that we would go to Richmond to close out the campaign for our second trip to that venue. It looks like tonight that decision not being made, as Corey Lyles opts not to go down a pit road. Almost looked like he was going to, but instead deciding to stay out here, and he's going to be waiting for the long term to go down a pit road for the first time tonight, expecting a 2-stop strategy to be most likely here with 150 laps on the table. If we have any more yellow flags, that next pit stop will be inevitable, as such, a second pit stop will be most likely due to follow. Jake Raven fell back multiple positions there to open up this run. He was, of course, your pole sitter, and already 4 laps in, he is down to 4th as the JFR driver split him down the middle and went 3 wide to open up the night. Now, talk about the early movement we've been seeing so far from the JFR guys. They are not going to be afraid to pounce and take anything for position, as they know both drivers are equally comparable when it comes to their speed, long-term pace, and capability of winning the championship. 2 laps to green this time by. We'll head back at lap number 6 and hopefully keep it clean from there. No damage to any driver from that yellow flag. Trevor Gill, the one and only afflicted, looks to be able to keep on going here. There's the number 9 at Trevor, and he finds himself now 8th and last yet again, as Caden Perkins is up there in 3rd. 2 drivers did not make it to the start-finish line. Those 2 being, well, Thomas Coonan, who's going to be race control, and then you got Kyle Heath, the rookie, who made his first attempt, was not able to get to the start-finish line, and will not take this race as his first start. He'll have to wait till next season for that accolade to come by, as Aaron Schugel leads over Corey Lyles. It's become 1 lap to green this time by. Aaron Schugel takes the inside. Corey Lyles goes right up top. And it looks like now lap number 5 at 150, your first restart going to be coming in this time through. We'll come to lap number 7 by the time we go green. This time around, of course, it looks like all 8 drivers remain intact, and so JFR's got the 1-2 front row, and they're looking to dominate from this point onward. The question becomes, though, splatted or splitting the strategy. How they've decided to do so already later on in the race. Lyles decided not to go down a pit road, and yet you remember what happened last time at Milwaukee, or rather Gateway, a very similar track in regards to being out and open, how important it was to go down a pit road early and get the advantage as the race progressed. Now, it looks like so far tonight everyone stays dead even, but will that be the winning move? Honestly, I doubt it here, but 2 of your championship contenders hold the front row yet again, and they're looking to lead the field right back to green. Pace car goes backing in, and it's going to be Aaron Schugel leading the field now to the green flag for the first time tonight. A restart to kick off the field and give the 91 the advantage up and ahead. Oh, Trevor Gill gonna spin once more. Yellow flags out again as it looks like a little bit loose at the front of the field. Trevor Gill brings out the second caution, and it looks like another single car spin. Nobody else afflicted but the number 9 and the second caution of the day. And here's a look once more again at the number 9 Trevor Gill. It looks like having some trouble here in Milwaukee and finding the back end of his number 9 all sideways once more. No contact. Looks like sliding up and locking it down, nearly getting up there to the 17 of Shannon Milliken. Milliken gets away. Trevor Gill, though, not as well. And it looks like he's going to find himself in the tail end of the field again as the second caution is brought out with the number 9, the cause once more. Aaron Schugel still leads, and we have an opening of this race, which is in large part going to be decided by pace laps. Aaron Schugel has decided to split that strategy, and he's making his way in now on a pit road, the first driver of which to go for it. And he's going to be now going back to last on the circuit, hoping that that decision will help him out in the long term. As you see, our second caution in only 9 laps so far with an 8-car field. Surprising to see so many yellow flags just to open things up. We'll be heading back green at around lap 12 here, so drivers will get the chance to have a lot more time under green, of course, if we get into a rhythm here, but you don't want to see drivers making the same simple mistakes, because that could falter, of course, not just for one driver, but give other drivers damage. Shannon Milliken almost got caught up in that incident, and lucky for his sake, he did not, but he had to go all the way up to the high side of the track and nearly brush up with the wall just to avoid a major problem, which could have been. Now, as the drivers make their way right down the start-finish line again, 141 laps to go. And the iRacing pace car is going to keep leading them by as everyone's together. Aaron Schugel is the first driver to go to pit road, and we say he's the first overall because Trevor Gill, despite the tire scraping, has decided not to go down and in. So, interestingly enough, it looks like Trevor confident in the tire, even though I would imagine all four of which are a little bit scuffed up already, and that'll give him a little bit more of a disadvantage given the fact he's lost control of the truck twice so far. It's not the best thing for him to keep all the old rubber, and hopefully it doesn't lead to anything worse for his sake, but Trevor holds fort regardless of previous incidents. So we'll be coming one lap to green for the second time tonight, and we'll go back at it in lap number 12 will be the point of our second restart. Inside line is going to be occupied now by Corey Lyles. This will bring Caden Perkins up to second, and Cameron Albertson there to third. Jake Raven is going to fall back down to fifth here. However, he is ahead now of Aaron Schugel, your former race leader, and this will give Lyles a few laps in the clear up and ahead with older tires than his teammate. Find out whether or not it's the right call to go down a pit road if we have the next yellow, of course, or if Corey Lyles now is going to have to deal with being at an older tire deficit compared to the number 91 who is starting behind him, but might have a chance to come up on him rather quick. Field is due to get underway now with 139 laps left on the season. iRacing official pace car is going to let these field, of course, of 8 drivers go back at it, and it'll be Corey Lyles yet again in control. Green flags out now with Caden Perkins right beside him, and here we go again. Second restart of the day, Perkins up top, but Lyles just gets a much better start. Good enough to get the lead in just a corner. Aaron Schugel gains 2 spots there in the opening 2 corners, getting up to 6th rather quickly, getting by Trevor Gill and Shannon Milliken respectively. Let's see now whether or not the field can make it more than a lap or 2 without any trouble. And we discussed how tires being at a disadvantage is a major deal, and for Trevor Gill right now, even though he's on an old set of rubber and seems to have confidence in it, I can't imagine it's going to hold up any better than if he were to go down a pit road under caution and get himself a new set. Now, it looks like nobody else to be around the number 9 means there's no chance of him going around and spinning loose once more. However, 2 yellow flags under the belt of the number 9, you don't want to see that hat trick come into play, as it looks like right now he's riding steady and deciding to keep it off of the bottom side of the track, instead letting lead lappers and those leaders do the work. Aaron Fontaine is coming off his best string of races as of late, and it looks like Aaron is going to head it down to the inside. I mean, what he did last week in Thompson, while not a podium, was especially impressive. He ended up with a very early spin at about 40 laps into the race. Then he went for the rest of the race, charging up to the 4th position with what seemed to be major front-end damage. Fontaine never even realized the incident was all too major and actually was able to keep on going without what he said any incident. He just progressed as if nothing happened, and he was able to barrel through inside the top 5 when all was said and done. Fontaine has been putting together good drives ever since his Gateway podium, and maybe tonight could be another. As you see here, Caden Perkins going to go side by side with Corey Lyles, and Corey might give away this race lead here if that number 54 machine stays as aggressive as he is. Drivers are going to be side by side further beyond this leading group. There's going to be Jake Raven with Aaron Schugel, and Schugel is coming up fast. This will be the move for 5th, and overall it will be the move for 3rd in the championship standings, as it'll be 2nd right now for Hayden Perkins, his teammate, and Cameron Albertson. And here comes Schugel going right by Jake Raven. And now all sights are set on Cameron Albertson, who was just about a tenth and a half up on that number 91. Let's see now what Aaron decides to do, as the number 15 is his next target from last up to fifth so far, and now looking for the fourth position. Aaron Schugel, finding himself inside the top 5, is now looking to make even further gains. Gap between he and the leaders overall, it is a 2-second gap, flat as it stands. So Aaron has been able to keep the time relatively even, but he is going to be blocked up now by drivers on an older set of Goodyear rubber. Coming across the stripe yet again, 1.8 second to deficit between Lyles and Schugel, and it looks like Aaron actually gained 0.2 of a second that time by, even though he finds himself currently held up in traffic. Let's see now, he gets down to the inside of the 15 and tries to power away, putting down that power with the number 91's fresher rubber. It's almost as if he's glued to the racetrack. That's going to help him out massively here as he heads straight to the inside. A little bit more assistance. Number 15 of Albertson now sees Aaron Schugel going around the way and looking to take that pass side by side, heading out of the start-finish line. And here again, neck and neck, only for turns 1 and 2 to be the deciding factor. And looking at that deciding factor, well, it decides that Aaron Schugel now has the position. Up next could be Cameron Albertson, of course, here on Jake Raven, and vice versa. We'll see whether or not anyone has anything for the number 15, but for now, I don't think there's much that can be done, as Cameron decides to go down to the inside again on Aaron Schugel, and the man on new rubber is facing some challenges making it up. It's not Gateway, so maybe the deficit and advantage, vice versa, are not too well pronounced. It's only been 9 laps, the difference between new and old, and 20 laps in on the old rubber, 11 on the new. It looks like that difference might not mean all too much, as one driver wiggling is Aaron Fontaine, and Aaron going to give up third now to Cameron Albertson as Aaron Schugel comes by. That will move Schugel up to P4. But now Schugel going to find himself just within the confines of the top 5 and still chasing Cameron Albertson here. Cameron going to be P2 in the championship with that maneuver, and it looks like he's got a few tenths of a second to stay a little bit more of a comfort zone between here and Aaron Schugel for the time being. Cameron stays P3. 4/10 back is going to be Aaron Schugel. Then you got 5th place Aaron Fontaine. Jake Raven is only going to be 0.2 of a second back on Fontaine, who's beginning to slip more so, and we expected anyway. Aaron maybe making one bobble that's scraped up his tire, and similar to Trevor Gill, tire wear is something you can't really reverse, especially at a high speed. And now with drivers laying down the speed and putting down the rubber, it's not something you can go back and sort of correct without heading down a pit road. 22 laps in, out of 150 so far. We get down to that 100 lap to go marker. That's when we're really going to see whether or not we are in a true rhythm. Now, a rhythm could come in many forms with respect to racing at Milwaukee. It could come in, of course, getting similar style or similar timed cautions. We saw 2 very similar yellow flags to kick off the race, but maybe a little bit more of a pattern there. Maybe we see pit strategy become where the rhythm is in place. Or, of course, we just stay green all the way, and drivers are in a rhythm where they can go lap after lap consecutively with absolutely no trouble. 3rd place is going to be Cameron Albertson, and it looks like his teammate Caden Perkins is just ahead of him here. And the number 54 having his best race of the season so far. How about Perkins? While he's a second off of championship leader Corey Lyles, it looks like Caden might have to watch out, because in his mirror very soon will be Aaron Schugel in the 91 running 4th as it stands, and things might change now as JFR's sandwich begins to, of course, get chopped down. Aaron across the stripe, gap between he and Cameron Albertson, 0.2 of a second. Now the admin box drivers going to go at each other and battle for position, which, if anything, might slow the both of them down all at once. Aaron Schugel able to creep up on the back bumper that much faster, and it looks like this will not work to the advantage of the drivers who are just ahead of Schugel. And matter of fact, it'll make them even easier targets as Aaron Schugel sees them both slide up. It's going to be Caden Perkins still going, but Cameron Albertson gets away much quicker. Perkins is in the wall. Aaron Schugel now gets in between, and it's truly a JFR sandwich now as Cameron Albertson is trying to keep himself just ahead. This is the battle for second in the championship, and of course Corey Lyles, I'm sure for his own chances, he would love to keep that number 91 right behind Cameron here. Hopefully for his chances, of course, that's what happens. Jake Raven now going to go at it with Caden Perkins. It looks like Caden, for all his faults, was able to get by the 54, of course. 37 going to be passed, only for a swap back. Jake Raven across the corner now is a much better chance out of 4 with more momentum. Raven will move up to 4th. Meanwhile here, Aaron Schugel heads low, and it looks like now Cameron Albertson, no choice but to defend aggressively. And that defense really won't work out if you don't have the position to begin with. But it looks like, once again, Schugel, not enough speed coming out of the corners, and that will give the edge to the number 15 of Albertson. So Cameron finds himself here in second. Third is going to be Aaron Schugel. And let's see how much longer that's the order as it remains, because Aaron Schugel is breathing down the neck of that number 15 and is bound to make something change in the coming laps, of course, trying to get his way to keep fighting for the title. Even though many drivers so far have been passed by Aaron Schugel, Aaron's gap between he and leader Corey Lyles has not changed. It has remained a constant 2-second distance. So even though Aaron Schugel has been able to keep up stride for stride with his teammate, the difference in track position to start this run, that's what set the tone. And it looks like it's going to be benefiting Lyles and definitely hurting the number 91 of Aaron Schugel here. He hasn't had much a chance to maybe break out in his own right, whereas of course Corey Lyles got the chance to pop out of that race lead and keep it for himself. 122 laps to go, only 29 laps in, and Lyles is going to be relishing in the advantage he was provided, while qualifying, of course, didn't go the way of Schugel nor Corey Lyles. It looks like now getting that lead on the restart is the most important factor that has kept the 56 out of trouble and almost put Aaron Schugel in the thick of it. He's made up almost every spot so far, save for second and first. And I'm sure now his sights are set on taking this race lead. The first step is to get by the driver of the number 91, of course, his rival, the 15 of Cameron Albertson. Let's see what he can do with that in mind here, as he's just moments away from perhaps setting up the shot. Here comes Cameron Albertson out of turn 4, a little bit higher, almost forced up a groove or so, and now Aaron Schugel going to wheel it off of 4. You can see the handwork right there, good enough to get toe-to-toe, and as such, it's going to be now Schugel taking that second position and moving just ahead of Cameron Albertson. Cameron going to find himself getting ahead as Aaron Fontaine slides and nosedives into the infield barrier out of turn 2. Second week in a row, and this time, yes, Aaron has critical damage. I don't think he's going to get away with it like he did in Thompson. Bad news for Aaron Fontaine, and no yellow for the number 18. Take a look back here, and we're going to figure out what just caused it, as it looks like Fontaine going to mess up major coming through the first 2 corners. It looks like out of 2, that's where things went awry. Take a look at that. Just out of 2, gets loose and ends up destroyed. That's not going to bring out a caution, a single car incident, and nobody else around. So the field progresses to Aaron Fontaine. Now has no choice but to head to pit road and call it perhaps a night as a result of that matter. Got himself a faster pair, but he's going to be 1 lap down as the leaders go by. Cameron Albertson, and so the field's going to be going right there with. Looks like nothing more can be done now for the number 15 machine. He stays in third. Jake Raven might be coming up for position number 4 here. Raven's going to be P4. Cameron Albertson occupies the 3rd spot. As it stands, the championship contenders are now going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and JFR is 1, 2. Corey Lyles is going to be overall the leading driver, and it looks like he's been able to break away even further than when Aaron Schugel was in traffic. He's gained 0.4 of a second relative to when Aaron was still battling through drivers. It went from about a 2-second lead to 2.4 seconds, and so looks like no matter what Aaron Schugel has been doing, it hasn't quite worked out. And he's still going to be on the back foot, like it or not. He's going to have to deal with that tonight, as 2.3 seconds plus is not a deficit you can make up without a mistake ahead of you. Jake Raven, though, is going to be looking for 3rd, and I think now he's got a chance to really steal it from that number 15. You can hear drivers shifting gears through the corners. Jake Raven in particular going down to 3rd gear, and he ends up putting the power down through the corners by getting the revs up high, then shifting back up. Now he's going to be coming out of the straightaways with more speed than his rival here in the 15 of Albertson, and that's going to give Jake Raven a chance to once again enter the podium as if he never left it. So far, Jake Raven, of course, looking for that first victory, as is Cameron Albertson. Both drivers have not yet gotten to the point where, of course, they have a chance to go through and win a race. But tonight, things could be different. And so far, it looks like it's been in the favor of the 37 in the past few laps, although Cameron Albertson and his teammate Caden Perkins were holding off rather well overall. Now Jake Raven coming across the stripe yet again. He's got a real good shot to perhaps make something work out here, and, of course, take himself into the race lead if he can just build that momentum and keep on gaining. That time by, though, he was substantially slower than Corey Lyles or Aaron Schugel, so passing for 3rd is by no means similar to passing for the lead. And as a matter of fact, here comes Cameron Albertson looking right down low once again. Looks like Albertson won't quit, and he will continue to battle up at the head of the field. Cameron gets it back up to 3rd, and Jake Raven now going to find himself P4 yet again. Let's see now what Raven's going to do about it if he's got anything set up, because Albertson has already burst out to a 0.2 of a second advantage in just about 2 corners. But it just seems to be come and go. One driver makes a slight mistake, the other maybe not. And it looks like all of a sudden here, the 37 of Jake Raven, well, he's got himself in a position where he's going to head down low, find himself going to the inside groove right by the curb. And it looks like that inside groove better for the offensive measures tonight. It's going to help out Jake Raven yet again as he's looking to take that spot and move up into 3rd once more. No driver's more familiar with 3rd place than Jake Raven. And it looks like right now, well, he's finding himself back at home, as Rita Bloom would describe it. Aaron Fontaine, Mads Crawford, Huck and chat, also Exo and Fire Red, all coming through and giving some love to the FTN chat room as you're watching the final laps of this season. And a wonderful inaugural season it has been with these legacy trucks. For the most part, we've seen fully clean and green racing ever since the green flag dropped for the first time in Daytona. We've seen a variety of tracks and styles of racing, and it's all come down to make an exciting season from end to end. Now, I'm sure these drivers are looking forward to what is next, and for them, it's going to be a completely different style of racing. We are anticipating the Truck Series to continue, however, in a much different form. And with that in mind, expect to see some more modern trucking rather than the contemporary action, of course, that you see most often. We might see it mixed up with legacy racing even still. So as much as we've loved watching these legacy trucks go at it again and again, we might see a little bit of a different style in the near future that involves the legacy trucks, but also has the modern machines of the Prodigy Racing Association coming back to life. Corey Lyles and Aaron Schugel have both had experience with those modern trucks before in the Iora Cup Series. You might remember Lyles was a serious contender in the era of the trucks when Season 3 had that car switch from the trucks to the next gen. Lyles not able to recapture that same position. However, he's a driver who we know now is very competitive with the trucks. They could be one of those drivers who adapts well when we get to the modern truck with the legacy still involved. So watch out for changes in the next coming season. It's due to be an exciting campaign coming up with the Prodigy Racing Association, and it will be broadcast once again live on FTN. 42 laps in now out of 150 and 109 laps remain on the table. Right now, Corey Lyles is going to find himself leading, and the closest battle remains between Jake Raven and Cameron Albertson. Looks like so far, not much else has come out of this race save for very, very close battles between the race leaders, and now the mid-pack is beginning to spread out for the first time tonight. 43 laps in, and most drivers have not gone down a pit road, so interestingly enough, you might see pit stops within some 20 or 30 laps based on road to pro strategy anyway, which happened with the modern trucks. 60 to 70 laps is about the most we can go before pit stop is necessary. Now, with 100 or so laps remaining now, drivers could stretch it for some 30 more laps and maybe give themselves a good opportunity to come out with a race win if they go for the one-stop strategy. The caution's helping them out. Maybe we'll get them to that point. But even still, nothing remains a guarantee so far, and I highly doubt that's going to be the strategy put in place by the most successful of drivers. We're going to have to watch how a guy like Corey Lyles or Aaron Schugel decides to do it. They might set the tone for the entirety of the field here, as Cameron Albertson is still trying to get up to Jake Raven. However, their gaps have become largely greater compared to what we saw to begin with. Phoenix and chat room as well, of course, rooting for the drivers in this field as a whole. The Prodigy Racing Association, the product of many great admins who have put this one together. Thomas Coonan stepping out of the driver's seat in the past few races and taking on more of that race control role, helping us out and making sure the racing has been clean and exciting for everyone in the field. And so far, it's been great to see the product as such driving with 105 laps to go. Clean and green ever since those opening two yellows, and Corey Lyles is no question now the championship favored if everything is to go his way. Now, we of course say if, because nothing is going to remain a guarantee here. No matter what you're seeing on your screen right now, things could change. Maybe a driver like Aaron Schugel has an opportunity to catch right back up to him if Corey makes a mistake. Even a wiggle or wobble could give way to more trouble. We saw it with Aaron Fontaine and Trevor Gill multiple times over. If you're not perfect, leave yourself susceptible to mistakes, it will come back to eventually get you. Now, try as they may, drivers are going to attempt to be perfect, but everyone's going to fall victim to some sort of problem as the race goes on. That's the nature of racing, as a matter of fact. So we don't really expect everyone to stay clean and green fully, individually anyhow, but there's a great opportunity, of course, just become immune to attrition. And attrition is something that has been plaguing this series all throughout, which of course brings a positive trait, the survival of the fittest mentality for our most intense and aggressive races. Say, for instance, those short tracks events we've had, where a lot of the times you don't quite know who's going to get the win. Even if they're up at the front of the field to begin with, doesn't mean they're guaranteed a shot to go out there for the checkered flag, because there could be tempers flaring, there could be a big wreck. But here in Milwaukee, don't expect that same attitude to prevail. Matter of fact, explaining, of course, mile-style racing like Phoenix, Milwaukee, even Gateway sort of falls into it. The long term, the big picture, it is everything. And I'm sure drivers who are at Gateway and are at this track as well, where they're seeing and feeling the exact same things. These laps start to blend into each other. You almost don't know what time it is. Well, maybe you don't know what time it is necessarily. It's not like you're completely lost behind the wheel, but all the laps begin to feel more or less the same. It's as if you're going and doing the same thing time and time again. It's monotony. And with that being said, it doesn't get easier for drivers to stay motivated and focused behind the wheel, but the championship contenders, of course, have something to keep on digging for. Aaron Schugel right now, I'm sure he's going to keep on digging as hard as possible. Honestly, I felt that he made the right decision, going down a pit road and getting tired. But it's like that 1.5 to 2 second window between first and last on the starting grid. That's the difference tonight. A shocker for sure compared to what we've seen in multiple other races, but right now Schugel is going to find himself on the back foot, and instead it's his teammate who seems to have the biggest advantage going for the championship. 100 laps to go this time by. That's about the distance the Road to Pro Series went at Milwaukee just a week and a half ago. Had the pleasure of commentating that event with Daniel Falkingham, the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series winner, and he's a driver who's got a load of experience in a variety of circuits, and we had a lot of fun, of course, watching that race go down. It was one that came down to big strategy, but with a different style of field. Of course, 30-some drivers, all of which so evenly match. It doesn't play out like what you're seeing here. Of course, it's exciting, but it's a different type of excitement. And it was Daniel Falkingham, of course, who's gotten it done, not only in the Road to Pro Tour, but in NASCAR. He's seen how Milwaukee plays out, and textbook strategy finesse. That's how the Road to Pro race, that's how it all went down. Because Brian Mercurio, who won at Watkins Glen, he was coming off of that race and looking high and mighty to win once again. He led the first 60-some laps, and then we had a caution fly. A caution about halfway through the race, maybe a little bit later. And one driver decided to do things differently. And that man, of course, Ethan Lane, the eventual race winner. He decided to stay out, which was a very interesting decision, given the fact that he was on older rubber. But, much like Aaron Schugel is right now, Brian Mercurio went down a pit road under the assumption that, yes, it would be better to try and come down and in and utilize new tire to his advantage. But he never got a green flag lap in. He got maybe 5 or 6 in a row at the very most, and Ethan Lane, who took advantage of the attrition, eventually came out with the race victory like it was nothing. That was, of course, his first win in round 2, and it effectively locked him into the Contender Series off the back of great performances before Milwaukee and the win at the Mile. So, Milwaukee can go upside down, and tires are often a very important factor when asking yourself, how do you win at this well-known circuit? Well-known in the oval world anyway, but maybe not too prestigious. You don't see drivers coming down here and examining it the same way you see Indianapolis, Daytona, Charlotte, things of that nature in the oval world. However, it still holds its own prestige, and Milwaukee, for that reason, has remained a well-known, highly prestigious circuit for local racing in Wisconsin. Now, the Truck Series are a national series that have visited this type of track many a time before. Milwaukee, in that sense, is admittedly not alone, but it has seen multiple tenures on the NASCAR Truck Series schedule, and the earliest of which was around the time of 2007, 2008, around the time you're seeing here and now. Now, talking about that time was a completely different era for the Truck Series, as originally all meant for short tracks or non-national circuits, but now the NASCAR Truck Series, it stands as its own, going week after week, touring at the exact same tracks for the most part anyway. However, the first time the NASCAR Truck Series went here was in 1995, and they went here until 2009, so this was an original track on the schedule, and it only just came back in 2023. There's history throughout the Milwaukee Mile that's not only tied to the decades and more than a century now of Milwaukee's racing, but also the Truck Series from its infancy to the very current day you see here and now. That in mind, let's talk a little bit more about what happened in Milwaukee in 2008. Now, it was another summer race. It was not at the end of the summer, but instead in the very beginning. June 20th of 2008, race 11 on the 2008 schedule. At the end of day, Johnny Benson came home with a race victory in a 200-lap feature. He led 130 laps, and he started from the pole position. Matt Crafton came home second. It was Landon Castle in third, and Eric Darnell position number 4. Overall, with respect to the championship race, Johnny Benson was able to come home as a 2008 champion, and he came through in a Toyota. You're looking at all these drivers in Chevy Silverados, and the leading Chevy was second-place finisher Matt Crafton, who is still with ThorSport, of course, as you see now, still remains with that team. Not a lot has changed when it comes to ThorSport and Matt Crafton, but a lot has changed when it comes to these trucks, and they certainly handle a load differently, and most of the field much different in its own right. We're running some 31, 32 second laps overall, which was on par with what you would have been seeing that day in Milwaukee. In June anyhow, a little bit different. Track conditions are not all too foggy, and maybe these drivers were slipping and sliding a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more about that race in depth while we have the time, but as we get more information, let's ride on board with your race leader 60 laps in. That's Corey Lyles. So watching Corey Lyles here, you can see he's working that middle groove just above what you would consider the grippiest part of the circuit, darker in nature when it comes to the pavement, and looks like he's getting the power out of the corner just fine regardless. The pull speed came in at about 121 miles an hour, so when it comes out of the mile an hour here, we can give you the calculations momentarily. However, margin of victory, 2.5 seconds, which right now, if the race ended, the margin of victory will be 3.5 in this event. Cautions, 6 for 27 laps. We've only had 2 today, which came out for some 6 or 7 and 10 lead changes. The average speed was 90 miles an hour, and the 200-lap race lasted 2 hours and 13 minutes. So now as Corey Lyles goes around the way, I'm sure he wouldn't like to go out here for 2 hours and 13 minutes all alone, but qualifying will tell you a lot of drivers were tightened up when it comes to their times, and admittedly 31-second lap isn't all too bad, but Corey Lyles and company would have been waxed in that race. I mean, Johnny Benson, 29.732. We mentioned not a lot of fog, and they could have been a little bit slipperier, but loose is fast, and Benson ran a 29.732 for his pole position time. Now, the pole time in this race, let's get that information here and show you it's not directly comparable, but 31.303. A 31.303 would have qualified a driver in 33rd in the real race. So, of course, iRacing's not 100% perfect, but you have to imagine these drivers would not be nearly as quick as the best in Milwaukee. However, they're doing a pretty good job extracting what they have in the setup. For Corey Lyles anyway, he would have been starting right beside Johnny Chapman in the number 33 and right ahead of Ryan Seaman in the 89. If, of course, his lap time was magically put in the race, his lap speed would have come in at just about, give or take, 114 miles an hour. And to say the rest of the field would have hardly made the race, of course, that's not an understatement. It just comes down to how different it was. And considering, of course, iRacing setup, real setup. It's all different, but at the same time, 2008, there is a direct comparison, and these trucks did take to this track during that time. Now, the most recent updates when it comes to this truck are as recent as 2013, in which, yes, this truck was not seen in competition in Milwaukee. 2008, that it was. And the Legacy truck's well associated for the start rather than the finish anyway, as we've seen the multiple iterations of truck which never went to Milwaukee. And it's a shame they didn't, because of course there's a lot of great racing that we've seen here tonight, and we're looking forward to a lot more in the coming laps. Jake Raven in the last few has actually been making up some time. Aaron Schugel going to be up next, of course, for him to catch up to. Gap is 11/10 of a second. 67 laps in so far with 84 to go. It looks like all of a sudden Raven might have a chance to get up to a driver on much newer rubber, and interestingly enough, Raven is convincingly quicker than all but one driver on the field right now. Of course, Lyles, yes, he is the fastest, but Jake Raven is several tenths clearing away of the other drivers in the field who have put themselves on track and have kept on going. All 8 drivers that started this race are still on the way, and it looks like now Cameron Albertson has gone down to pit road for his first pit stop, and he's going to be coming out after 6 laps here. He's going to be 1 lap down, setting quicker times now, of course, with the younger tire, but he's 1 lap down. Not much else he can do for the time being. Within a second now, Jake Raven is coming up on Aaron Schugel. Watch out. We might see a battle on our hands for second, and if Raven's not able to get up to the race lead, which of course it looks unlikely right now, it is still a commendable effort and a great one for a driver who we think has a race win eventually on his hands if he keeps on driving. He's got multiple podium finishes, finds himself now on the pole position, of course, for tonight's event, and he's actually making up time on Aaron Schugel, who should have the advantage with rubber. And this is what we talk about when it comes to not only the physical aspect of going back and forth and moving at it, but also the mental part. Can't imagine it's easy for Aaron Schugel right now. I mean, he made the right call. He made what we thought would be the right call, and he went down for tires early, thinking he would surge up and push through. And yet, Aaron Schugel now going to be coming down the back straightaway and losing time relative to Jake Raven. And now as the field heads down the front straightaway once again, Aaron Schugel finds himself just barely in the runner-up spot. Jake Raven, 2/10 back. Let's see what he can do here and ride on board with the 37.
Was this. Now it's going to be Jake Raven working side by side with Aaron Schugel. You saw Aaron, though, go way up the track, and it looks like he's gotten himself now in a good position to try to fend off on the higher side, but testing the waters now with pressure, not a good thing. Let's see now what Aaron can do, as it looks like he got a good enough run out of the final corner to keep up with this position, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out in the long term. One driver who's coming up on both of these guys is Cameron Albertson. You see him in the background of your screen, slowly but surely making up time, and he might be able to put down his foot in this battle as Aaron Schugel tries to keep himself up there, defending upon the 37 of Jake Raven. No use so far for Jake. He goes down to the inside yet again. Both drivers lie down low to the opening of the corner, and now we're almost going at each other in an identical fashion. 78 laps to go, and very soon we're going to see pit road open for the leading drivers. It looks like, yes, the one-stop strategy is the way to go tonight. We will not see drivers trying to go for the two-stopper if you're in contention for the win. So the one-stopper is the preferable option. So now with only a few laps to go until we split this race evenly, drivers should feel comfortable knowing that pit stops will not be much a concern so long as they stay under, of course, their own means and not turned around, bent up, or on the wrecker. It'll be pretty simple to make it to race's end without losing full control of strategy tonight. There's Cameron Albertson, and with the young rubber he's got, he's making a move up on Jake Raven, and before Raven makes it by on Aaron Schugel, we might see the number 15 make two positions, and while it might not be for the numbers on your timing screen, they will be good enough to keep him on the chase to get back up on the lead lap. Right now, Aaron Schugel is 6 seconds behind Corey Lyles, and now you can see the fog is almost completely out of the way. Still mostly cloudy skies with some sunshine peeking down, but the sky is getting clearer and so is the air. As you can see, the camera is giving us a much clearer look right now. Jake Raven now facing that pressure with Cameron Albertson, slowing him down from getting up to Aaron Schugel, and the lapper goes up high, still looking for a move. 76 laps in, 75 laps to go, and so we've got to that halfway point, which has taken us a little bit more time than some might have expected to get there, and yet we are now free with green flag racing and exciting action lap after lap. The final 75 laps of this season come down to this. Your championship leader currently is Corey Lyles in what is a winner-take-all formula for the field up in front. Aaron Schugel and Jake Raven would be considered second and third in the title bout so far. It looks like now it's going to be Aaron Schugel staying out and one man going in. Jake Raven, he decides to head down and in now on his own volition after 76 laps. And the call for him will be made the first of all drivers still in race-winning contention. We say race-winning contention as those who are on the lead lap anyway, so Jake makes his move, and that's going to leave Corey Lyles and Aaron Schugel alike on the track without making the decision just yet. 74 laps to go, and time is running out here. We'd like to thank, for the final time this season, iRacing Motorsports Simulations. The legacy trucks not updated day to day, but in memory of what was in virtual sim racing and the real world as well, iRacing has kept history alive in stock car racing now for more than 16 years, and it's the best place to go to have some fun racing with your friends, of course, all throughout the world. Over 100,000 users active on a day-to-day basis. I would love to have you join the fun. Visit iRacing.com for additional information on how you can join the world's leading online racing sim, and we'll be right back after the following message from our friends at iRacing.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Corey Lyle's going to be getting off of pit road ahead of Aaron Schugel, both of which went down this time by. Gap between the two is still going to be just about 6.5 seconds. So little is going to change now. It's 71 laps to go in the championship 150. Jake Raven is going to be coming right back up on the back bumper of Aaron Schugel here. Take a look at this. Schugel does not have warmth in his tire, and that's his biggest disadvantage. Raven got right back up to him. And so the battle begins again. Let's see now who's got what it takes to maybe hold off one another. It looks like Aaron Schugel has the track position as an advantage, and Jake Raven, yes, does have slightly older tire here, but he got right back up to him and pounced quickly. It looks like Jake also has that strength of the long run. He was able to reel Aaron Schugel back in after several laps of trying and fighting, several dozen laps as a matter of fact, which got him into that position. But let's see what happens up next here with that number 37, as Aaron Schugel resides just behind the number 9 of Trevor Gill. Trevor does not gone down a pit road, though, and only 2 drivers still remain who have not gone down a pit road at all. Trevor now finding himself up inside the podium for the first time tonight, and interim leader who just decided to drop in, that's Caden Perkins, and now he goes to the inside, and he's going to give up the race lead potentially for the final time tonight. Number 54 drops in and will relinquish the race lead. It's back in Corey Lyle's hands, and Corey is advantageous yet again here. So Lyles finds himself now leading the way. Trevor Gill still going to be second and has decided not to go down a pit road, interestingly enough. All things considered, a very clean and easy pit road cycle, and every driver going to get back on the way without much trouble. Now it's going to be Jake Raven still chasing Aaron Schugel, but he hasn't made any major waves, so we can't expect all too much just yet. Trevor Gill remains in second here and might actually get passed on pace before he heads down to pit road. Second and third right now, net second and third anyway, remain battling for second in the championship. With this Final Four style format, Jake Raven has gotten a chance, of course, to up himself in the point standings that much more. He came in as a backup driver for the Final Four this season, and it looks like he was able to make his way in. Of course, attendance, the biggest thing for him tonight, but at the same time, that consistency has been key, and right now, he's going to find himself real close to Aaron Schugel and, of course, Trevor Gill alike. Aaron decides to go down low, and he's going to bring there. Jake goes right with him. Now the number 9 machine goes up top as the yellow flag's out again. The reason being, yellow flag for, Aaron Fontaine is destroyed yet again. Caution's out, and Aaron Fontaine looks to be the reason. Take a look at this one as Aaron, once again, compounding damage and shades of his earlier incidents. Take a look back. Out of 2, loose, up. This time he takes the outside wall rather than the inside, and yet his race is over. Already used that fast repair. Not much else can be said for Aaron Fontaine. It looks like his night is said and done just like that. He'll be the first retiree on the day, an unfortunate way to go. Nevertheless now, as everyone goes through pit road this time by, looks like a second stop for Corey Lyles. And Jake Raven decides to stay out, it appears. Aaron Schugel will go right with, and so fresh rubber to finish off the night. Let's see who makes that out of pit road first. Number 56 machine going to be just ahead now of his teammate as he goes into his pit stall. Fontaine going in and out of the car. Lyles gets away, and here comes Aaron Schugel. First and second making it out of pit road, and Jake Raven has decided to stay out in the head. Now it's time to see what's up next for the two drivers who have been dominating the championship fight all night long. Raven, advantageous for the time being, 64 laps to go, and we are under yellow. We're going to take a little bit of a moment away to thank all of our sponsors and associates live on FTN who have brought the action to you all night long. We'll be right back after the following messages under yellow, and you won't miss a thing when we go back to the green. Jake Raven heads down to pit road, and we'll return after we go FTN nonstop.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
And now, 61 laps to go, and we head back to green. It's now going to be Corey Lyles and Aaron Schugel side by side again, and this time they're on that level playing field, so this is the battle for the lead we were expecting beforehand, and here it comes now. Field is getting set to go back at it for restart number 3 on the night. 61 laps to go, so for all intents and purposes, this is a sprint to the finish. Field gets down and into pit road, this time by iRacing official pace car, heads through and gives the field back to Corey Lyles. Green flags out, Lyles again with a better jump, and now it's going to be toe-to-toe behind him, but no use as Aaron Schugel cannot get up to the 56 on the immediate launch. Aaron now going to head down to the inside line, looking to take that race lead for his own. Can't quite make it happen. Aaron Schugel spins right across the middle of the field. The 91 brings out the caution. Oh, and Schugel goes around. And it looks like under his own power this time, Aaron Schugel loses control up the track, and he's going to have to fight again for that track position, something he's been looking for all night long. Little bit of a scrape from Caden Perkins, but Schugel with perhaps the most consequential mistake of the season. And it is a wonder that he got away with minimal damage. So, Aaron Schugel is going to get right back at it yet again. He finds himself now in the 6th position. Corey Lyles still leading. It's your 4th yellow flag now of the day, and we find ourselves now heading back into action with what will be less than 60 laps to go. 60 remaining this time by. We will head back to green with about 57 laps left. 92 in, out of total now of 150 still. We've seen a great race so far, but what's going to come of it now in these final laps? That remains the question. I think now these drivers are not afraid to answer it. Corey Lyles might be feeling the best he's had it all night long. The championship looked to be, once again, a toe-to-toe fight, but now looks like Lyles has that track position, which has kept him out in front all night long. He's got the advantage. What can he do with it here? That remains to be seen. The dominant force of JFR. Leads once more, but the underdog seems to be on the mind of everyone tonight. That is Jake Raven up in second. He's able to get back inside the front row here, so it looks like things might go his way after, well, more than 100 laps, or nearly 100 laps rather, with him just outside of even fighting for the podium. Got himself up into the top 2 fight, and here now Jacob will have a chance, of course, to go up to the outside and go up against Corey Lyles. 2 laps to green here. Jake goes up to the top side, feeling out that higher groove. Cameron Albertson is also going to be P3 here. Not doing a half bad job in that number 15, and maybe the darkest of all dark horses, the last driver even capable of getting the championship in his own rights. 58 laps remaining, and due to go back at it yet again with the driver of the number 15. There in third, Corey Lyles is now going to be, of course, leading, and Aaron Schugel, he's in the top 5. Now he's going to find himself in 5th anyway. Nevertheless, not looking the best for the driver of that number 91. We'll see now what he can do, perhaps to pull himself back together yet again, but it's highly unlikely now that Schugel has got a chance to make it unless there's another yellow flag, which definitely could occur, but at the same time, you can't count on it, especially now with championship implications. Not count on what is due to come. Future still holds itself for 56 more laps for the drivers here of the Legacy Truck Series, and we'll figure out who it's in favor of and who would like to see win in due time. The final few laps await here, and it looks like with 57 laps to go, we're going to be heading right back at it again. Now you'll see Corey Lyles. He finds himself in the mix. Down low, Jake Raven is going to be within the confines of victory himself. He is up top. Side by side, 2 drivers with completely different backgrounds this season, looking to go toe-to-toe to find victory lane. Green flag is going to fly yet again now with only 57 laps left. And with that said, it's time to go green with Lyles once again as your control car. Let's get right back at it once more. Green flags out yet again, and it's going to be Corey Lyles with the advantage right through the first 2 laps. Of course, we'll see if he can hold on for that much as the 56 is up and away. Looks like it's going to be the first lap easy said and done for Corey Lyles, but Jake Raven might make it a battle for more than 4 turns. Raven's going to be within the confines of the race lead, and now he'll dive low inside. The 37's going to take it. This is the battle for the championship, and it's the best that Raven's looked all night long. Now, coming out of the back straight, Jake Raven, not clear just yet. Corey Lyles is, but he's going to take it through 3 and 4 with the advantage again. Corey drifts up the track. Jake Raven stays right down low, and as calm as they come, Raven's got a chance now out the corner. Side by side at the stripe. A little bit of a wiggle back there for Shannon Milliken. He'll stay together. Raven into 1. He's got it through, and with the lunge, the 37 has the race lead for the first time tonight. Up top, and there's Corey Lyles. He's not going to quit, and with them, because his JFR teammate, there's Aaron Schugel. But for the first time, Jake Raven is clear. He is your race leader, and he is out and in front here in Milwaukee, looking to win a championship. What a way to take the race lead now for Jake Raven, and he was able to handle that restart. It only took him 2 laps to get up in front, and now he leads the field as they go single file yet again. What a way to move up there for Raven in the 37, something we haven't seen from him all season long. The opportunity to just make it move up through the track. That 37 machine pushing and shoving, not with bumpers and fenders, but simply with the dominance of that opening restart. Even though he started right behind Lyles, he's clearly had to carry himself better, and that's what he did to get up in a much stronger position now. 52 laps to go. It was open and shut before. That's no longer the case. One driver going to spin again for the 3rd time. It's Trevor Gill. He goes down to the inside of the grass. No yellow flag will be called. We stay green. Jake Raven leads from Lyles, Schugel, and even Cameron Albertson is still there. But it looks like right now all eyes are on the number 37, who leads into one. But now Corey Lyles goes to his inside of the quarter panel once again. It looks like the dominant man of the day is looking to take it right back from perhaps the most important underdog of the season, the 37 of Raven, who has been denied time and time again. And it looks like now Lyles is looking to do so once more. Side by side, Raven is trying to keep himself intact. Corey Lyles with pace moves that 37 up the track, and all of a sudden Lyles has the lead yet again. Aaron Schugel going to be coming with, and it looks like the 91 machine surges deep. Jake Raven no choice now but to stick it in the middle side as Aaron Schugel is loose once more, and it was Aaron losing control again. No help now for the JFR 56. That's going to leave Jake Raven a chance to slot in a second once more. 50 laps to go. No telling now who goes where and when they go. Haven't seen anything like this in quite some time. Jake Raven, who has been winless this season, now with a chance to break out. A win is practically necessary for him as he falls back in a third, and a victory is practically necessary for anyone who wants the championship, as it looks like all of a sudden they're going to try to cycle him out of line immediately. Jake Raven finds himself down to the battle for fourth, not for the lead any longer. We'll see whether or not he can rebound from there, but it looks like now Corey Lyles leads again, and his biggest threat, his biggest competition will be that number 91 of Aaron Schugel, who finds himself now working down the back straightaway yet again, and this time he finds himself in the catbird seat. Been waiting a long time here. 100+ laps. He's been practically an irrelevant driver on the day. He's had speed. He has not found himself in the right position. He's not necessarily had himself put together correctly. And even though he even lost control in that most recent yellow flag, well, looks like Schugel is back in position to fight once more. 48 laps to go, comes down to 47 on the season, diving into pit road. That was an aggressive dive from Caden Perkins. We stay green though, nevertheless. Looks like now Jake Raven actually loses a little bit more time than anything else, as he's in fourth now, and he is a little bit more so drifting back compared to those ahead of him. We'll see how much longer that lasts. Caden Perkins is indeed on pit road, and that might end this season. However, no retirees so far, and even Aaron Schugel's, of course, 91 machine has gotten away from the spin, and even Aaron Fontaine has gotten away from the substantial amount of damage he has. Look at this. Fontaine is back on the track again. And while 16 laps down, he's still going. It's a surprise, but looks like Schugel, of course, up in front of here. Not surprised to see his teammate leading. And now Corey slowly but surely beginning to stretch up and in front. 46 laps to go, coming down only 45. Corey Lyles, Aaron Schugel, Cameron Albertson, the top three. And we haven't talked all too much about Cameron Albertson's role in the championship this season, because this is a driver who has been, oh, he gets loose there, but this is a driver who has been on the course back in Schugel all throughout this run. Now, if Cameron really wants a good opportunity, the driver of the number 15, he's got to find something. Whether or not it's going to be found in these coming laps, or if he waits for an opportunity or a mistake up ahead, that remains to be seen. Now you'll see down to the inside, Aaron Schugel goes for the race lead, and for the third time in 10 laps, new race leader, new championship leader, Aaron Schugel up and ahead. Lyles has kept himself, for the most part, the race leader, and a dominant one at that, but now he's got to deal with his teammate trying to take away that throne right from him in the dying laps of this race. 44 laps to go. Unbelievable the way things are shaping out to be. Now it's going to be side by side between the JFR drivers. This will distract them from what's going on behind, and immediately Jake Raven and Cameron Albertson alike both pick up several tenths of a second all at once. Now it's going to be Aaron Schugel who puts himself down through the straights with the lead again. Corey Lyles is now going to find himself not slipping behind necessarily, but he's not the leader of the line any longer, and instead Schugel has himself the championship lead. Coming out of turn 4, a surge of momentum for both drivers, but it looks like Lyles just slightly quicker. No use. 42. laps to go. Time will keep ticking down, and until we reach that checkered flag and there's no more left, you might just see them swap the lead most every lap. Jake Raven is going to be going at it again with Cameron Albertson, and it looks like with more aggression up in front, this will give both of your dark horses a chance to slide back into the picture. Side by side for the race lead yet again. That's going to be Corey Lyles taking the lead right back, and we've had most every driver in the championship picture take a chance for the race lead, and here you have it. The 56, as Albertson gets loose, saves it. It looks like he's going to go down to the grass. That will bring Jake Raven and Albertson alike to a standstill. They're both far out of the picture now. Meanwhile, your race leaders are going at it, and they have not been afraid before to use the bumper. The chrome horn might come out to shine again. But watch out before we get to that point. Hopefully we see some clean racing as Schugel once again comes across the stripe, the leader. Aaron so far has led 7 laps. Corey, 96. What a difference, and what a shame it would be for Corey if he were to lose after such a dominant performance. It's not about the laps you lead to the start, it's about that one final lap. The race win, determined by 1 lap only. Doesn't matter if you lead 139 before, 149 before, but now it looks like JFR is alone up in front, and they can cruise to a chance fighting each other for the race victory more than anyone or anything else back behind him. Corey's in second, and of course, just ahead of him, it's going to be Aaron Schugel. The 1-2 combo with 39 laps to go hangs tough and ahead. Meanwhile, you'll see just behind, Cameron Albertson and Jake Raven are going to be now 3rd and 4th. And here comes Cameron Albertson using the bottom side. It looks like more momentum now for Jake Raven up top. And here comes a slide job. The 15 machine rolls up high. Looks like losing a little bit of control at that. And Raven's back home in 3rd. Yellow flags out for Shannon Milliken. The lapper just spun. And the caution's out. 38 laps to go. We're getting another reset. And another short sprint to finish the job tonight. Take a look at this. 17 of Milliken. Cause for caution. And the PRA 17 has spun a few times before in less egregious spots, but it's a very similar incident to Aaron Fontaine goes around again. Oh, Aaron Fontaine might have been part of the cause of that caution, and then Milliken tried to save it and failed. And at the same time, for the 3rd time today, Fontaine goes spinning. What happened to Aaron here? Loose out of 2. He comes up the wall. And if that previous incident didn't end Aaron's day, I can't imagine he's going to stop now. But it's certainly not looking pretty. And you might have thought that was a replay of some 35 laps ago. No, it was not. That's the exact same circumstance, different lap. 37 laps to go. Aaron Schugel leads from Corey Lyles here. I got a little bit of time under yellow once again, so we're going to take a brief break live on FTN to thank our associates and sponsors who have brought you all of tonight's coverage. We'll return after the following messages from our friends live on FTN, and we'll be right back after this.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
We'll go back green at 34 laps to go. And this is going to be maybe not the sprint to end the race, but we're running out of time to keep on resetting it. Let's see now what Aaron Schugel can do. He's the race leader this time by control car, the number 91 is, and up top is Corey Lyles. The teammates have been battling each other now for the past 20-some laps after being separate for almost 100. Here we go again. Lyles is going to be, for the first time, up top and alone. Aaron Schugel down on the bottom. Rocket launch. He's got it up there. Green flag's out, and he's ahead now by 2 car lengths. Jake Raven fights side by side for second. Aaron Schugel gets the restart he needs to hold on to the championship lead. So Schugel's going to find himself up there, race leading, as it's going to be a battle now for second. Raven gets loose and is going to falter. That gives Corey Lyles just enough a chance to maybe break free and clear. Contact! Albertson into Trevor Gill. Gill's going to slide for the 4th time today. Caution is out. A reset on resets. And it looks like that one simply put contact and just gets the number 9 involved. Not much else to be said or done about that one. And another incident brings us to a standstill here with 33 laps remaining. And so we pace yet again. Heading back live here, 119 laps in the books. We'll go back to green with some maybe 30 laps to go at the very most, if not less than that. Cautions are once again bringing out more cautions after him, breeding yellow flags. Caden Perkins is going to find himself involved in the previous incident. He's going to be retired, it looks like, the first of the day. Aaron Fontaine is 23 laps down and still getting repairs, so he might have a chance now to get back out there with how many yellow flags we're having at the tail end of this one. It's not done yet. Corey Lyles did not have a good restart either. That was perhaps his worst of the day by a long shot. And so, you know what he's going to decide to do? Not go down a pit road. That's what he's going to decide to do. He'll stay right there in second, and he'll use that track position to try to hang tough here with Aaron Schugel and hope to bring himself back up to the race lead yet again. With the iRacing pace car now leading the way once more, pit strategy is effectively out of the picture unless we have perhaps a green-white checkered here. Maybe we'll see some drivers decide to go for it there. Otherwise, I think now pit road's going to be empty. There's no reason to come in 10 or 15 laps with what we've seen so far with guys like Aaron Schugel testing out the theory. New rubber, unless everyone's on it, hasn't done all too much. Trevor Gill's going to be the next man to try that theory out. And although Gill's been involved in a variety of yellow flags today from the beginning to the end of this race, it looks like he's still going with minimal damage. And to add to that, Trevor Gill has used his fast repair, admittedly, but with all things considered, he's made it 100+ laps despite finding himself in a multitude of little incidents all throughout. Now, a few other drivers who have used their fast repair, looking up there, it's going to be Cameron Albertson, also one retiree in Caden Perkins, and Aaron Fontaine. 3 of your championship 4 have not yet used a fast repair, and 2 laps down, Shannon Milliken has decided not to in his own right. Aaron Schugel's going to be race leader, and he's going to lead us now with 2 laps to go. We go green with 28 laps left. The 91's on the bottom, the 56 is up top. It looks like they both decided on where they're going to be positioning each other. It's the same as beforehand. It looks like the inside has been preferred by all those who have led, and the high side instead given to those who do not have the luxury of being the line leader. And so Jake Raven gets the chance to go down to the bottom, and up top with them will be Cameron Albertson once more. Let's see what happens up next here as the iRacing pace car puts the lights off again and might have a chance to go to sleep. 1 lap to go. Aaron Schugel, Corey Lyles bringing it back to green for 28 more laps now, and this is going to be a position trickier than ever, of course. Running out of time, consistently seeing these laps wind down, you got to wonder who here is in the right mentality to go for it. Corey Lyles, for the first time, seems to be a little bit more so shaken up. Now, of course, he's been on such a good run, leading nearly 100 laps. Seeing anyone threaten his dominance is a major surprise. Let's see now what he's going to do to combat that surprise as the field will come back to green this time through. It's going to be Schugel down on the bottom, Corey Lyles right up top. We're going to head back to work now as the field goes green for 28 more laps. Schugel leads, Corey Lyles up top, and we're green once again as it's a 91 making its way down into turns 1 and 2 once again with a car length as the advantage. Corey is going to tuck in much quicker this time around, so clearly going to learn from the mistakes of that last restart, and the weakness of that last restart will help out, providing him with a chance now to duck down to the inside and look for the race lead with 27 laps to go. Here comes Corey with a chance to take that top spot right back. Corey so far in the day has led 97 laps, looking to get up to the centennial mark before the job is done tonight. Aaron Schugel, oh, he goes all the way up high there, but to no avail for Corey Lyles. He'll have to keep on waiting for the right time, right chance to strike. It's the number 56 machine tucking down low yet again. Can't quite find the room or the rhythm. Jake Raven now going to be in third, and a little bit of a nudge that will send the 91 back up the track, and the chrome horn beginning to shine for the first time tonight. And these are teammates, mind you. Imagine if they weren't. Now you can see the 56 machine of Corey Lyles getting a good chance to fall right down under the 91 of Schugel again, and it's going to be toe-to-toe and through 3 and 4 if Schugel just can't get the bumper out of the way of Lyles anyhow. But Corey, oh, he's going to slide back up. This gives Jake Raven a much better chance, but it's not going to be enough. Mostly cloudy sky. The sun has once again disappeared, and it looks like in its place going to be cloudiness. And right now, Corey Lyles' mind might be clouded seeing his teammate break out to a race lead, which has been held largely in his clutches all throughout the campaign. 25 laps to go this time through. Corey Lyles, what a way to get it done, of course, for him if he can break out and lead 100-plus laps. But for Aaron Schugel, it might just be more impressive that he's been able to fight back through all that adversity to make it up to this point. He had to wait for good 2/3 of this race to even have a chance to win. Now he's here with 24 remaining, and he's up in front for the final laps of this season, looking to get the job done and close it out as the champion. Your top 4 in the championship points are all together. Albertson gets loose. That's going to leave Jake Raven as the last man in the train, and still, these top 3 drivers are within now. Oh, Corey Lyles slides. Lyles goes spinning, and the yellow flag will call for 24 laps to go. Lyles goes around. Much like Aaron Schugel some 25 laps before him, Corey brings out the caution. And you see the 56 going sliding there, and it looks like not much else to say besides he was pushing harder to try to get by Schugel, and he ends up pushing himself out. Up top, luckily he doesn't go and hit Jake Raven or vice versa. But Corey Lyles, minimal damage if anything. He'll have to come down to pit road for new rubber now with 23 laps to go. Get all the tire scrapes off him, and that's the type of tire wear you just cannot afford to work with. And so, lined up again, watch as Lyles goes in. Here we have it. Aaron Schugel leading from Jake Raven all of a sudden with 22 laps to go this time by. Shannon Milliken, the number 17, is going to go and get 1 lap back here. Caden Perkins is 26 laps down. And it looks like it's going to be the number 18 of Aaron Fontaine, who finds himself 32 down, and he is back on the track. 13 minutes of damage repair for Aaron Fontaine, and take a look, his front end, it's back once again. Surprisingly, Aaron Fontaine just keeps kicking, and it looks like tonight, while he will not quit, he's still going to be a few spots down of everyone and a few laps down at that. 26 laps down is Caden Perkins, who has been off the track for 26 laps. And Aaron Fontaine, he still has a few laps to go to catch up to that point. So 8 drivers who are still within timing and scoring range, 7 on the track, and 7th man on the track is 8th and last in scoring. That's due to change though as we get back to the green next time by with some 19 laps to go. Saving grace for Corey. New runner. And the difference is 15 laps. Now, mind you, yes, Schugel had a lot of trouble with a 9-lap difference, but Corey Lyles has not yet tried this strategy. So the pros and cons, I can tell you this much, it might not be a list, it might be 2 big bullet points. 1, new tires, good tires. But of course, the biggest con of it all, it's been tried before and it did not work. And most importantly, it was your rival in the championship who tried it, and he failed. And he had, what, 100 laps to do it? What makes you think you can do it in 20 laps here? Of course, no time to be skeptical if you're the 56 of Lyles. You need to have confidence you are making the right decisions. It's time now. If you make the right calls, you can end up in victory lane and with the title. If not, you are going to admittedly suffer those consequences. Schugel leads from Jake Raven, and still third, Cameron Albertson. An interesting place for Cameron to find himself as he will duck low with the 91 of Schugel here, so talking about an interesting pair on the inside groove. Now Jake Raven leads the high side, and Corey Lyles is going to ride just behind the 37 and the 15 in company. 20 laps to go this time by with 19 laps remaining. We are going to crank it up this time by courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. iRacing's leading camera providers are giving us access to the best cameras with broadcast quality all throughout the sim racing scene. Let's turn it up this time by and get loud with only 19 laps left on the season. We're going to crank it up here in the most intense portion of the championship chase. Schugel, Lyles, Raven, Albertson looking for the title tonight, and when it's about time, we go green yet again with 19 laps to go. iRacing pace car says goodbye again. Let's see if this time it's for good, as Aaron Schugel will lead the field back to the green flag. 19 laps to go as we crank it. Oh, Jake Raven into Albertson and Corey Lyles. Yellow flags out. Everyone but Schugel's involved. Oh my. Now, how big was the damage for everyone? That's the question now. Take a look at this. Eye in the sky will show you this incident. And it'll show you then Albertson gets into Jake Raven. And then from there, it looks like these drivers end up slapping each other. And Corey Lyles comes through. Contact for Lyles. Minor on the front end. Lyles. Oh, Aaron Fontaine to the back end. Jake Raven right there too. Jake might have gotten a piece on the back end himself. Almost hitting each other on the way out. Raven and Corey Lyles get away. Caution is out again. Cameron Albertson looks to be mostly fine. Maybe a little bit of a back end scrape himself. Well, you can't quit now if you're the driver, that number 56, but Corey Lyles is getting the book thrown at him on these last few laps, and Aaron Schugel is the only Championship 4 driver now to get away from that. That's a huge deal for him. And let's see whether or not it plays into his favor with 17 laps to go. We'll come back green with maybe 14 laps left. That's how little time we have in this one. It looks like all drivers involved in that incident should be able to keep on going. Jake Raven coming in for minor damage repair. Corey Lyles, it looks like minor damage repair himself. And he's going to go through, get 4 sets Goodyear tire, and get back on the way. Lyles is going to make it up to Aaron Fontaine here, and it looks like with him going down and in, gives Corey Lyles the race lead. Wow. Corey up and in front, and from all that, the 56 leads. Everyone else just went down a pit road. What's the reason for Corey getting the chance to go in early, and will it benefit him? Aaron Schugel, Cameron Albertson, and the 9 machine of Trevor Gill, all of which making their way in together, and now Schugel is second again to Corey Lyles. You would have thought that wreck would have been bad for him. Well, let's see now if he has an end-of-line penalty or something of that sort that got him to stay out here. But it looks like now Jake Raven finds himself getting right up here. He's going to be getting out just ahead of Aaron Schugel as well. Schugel up top, and it looks like now, as he cruises in, he will not pass the 56 nor the 37. This moves Schugel back into the 3rd seed with 14 green flag laps up next. So a tricky position to get to. All these drivers here, now we really don't know what to expect. Here's Cameron Albertson once again getting back on the way as he comes across turn 4, and he get back with the race leading bunch. It's 1 lap to green, now 14 green flag laps. That's what's left. Now we're going to find out what's in store for the field. As the 56 of Corey Lyles puts himself on the down low, Jake Raven's up top. And although both drivers were just involved in our most recent caution, they are now the top-seeded men in the Final 4. Let's find out what's up next for the both of them as the iRacing official pace car will let loose, go down a pit road, and we can't imagine now this will be the end of it, but it definitely could be the last sprint of the season here. Pace car says goodbye. Here goes Corey Lyles, and he's back in the lead. Green flags out once again. Corey up in front. He'll get the jump over Jake Raven, and Aaron Schugel goes low. Already side by side for second, and could be side by side for the lead if the 91 gets a proper run out. So now it's going to be Corey Lyles leading the way ahead of his JFR teammate, first and second with the championship in mind. Jake Raven's going to be in third, getting a little bit now pressure from Cameron Albertson here, and it's going to be once again 2 pairs splitting up amongst each other as the 91 of Schugel locks down low. He's going to drift up the track. Corey stays calm, and he's going to keep himself just barely ahead. The moves between these drivers are going to have to become smaller and smaller. You cannot drive erratic. That's going to cost you that much more time, that much more position. It's worse now to be erratic and lose position than to be a little bit smoother and calmer now with 13 laps to go as the field settles down for its last dozen laps. Take a look off the back end of the 56 here, and you'll see how close Schugel is to making something happen. He'll duck down and in 2 by 2. JFR's number 91 now going to be toe-to-toe and off the corner. That's the way they remain, but it looks like Corey with a slightly better exit. Now it's going to be Corey Lyles leading by 3/10. Aaron Schugel slips up big, and the battle for third, it's what rages on. Number 15 machine of Cameron Albertson with Jake Raven here. Here comes that number 37, and the 15 up ahead of him, but only just. Jake finds himself now in the 4th seed. In addition, you got yourself looking at Aaron Schugel yet again. He's going to have to make up 4/10 now in only 10 laps. The question becomes, though, whether or not he can make that time up quickly. Only 10 laps to go. You have to be quick here. No time for inefficiencies. And it looks like if anyone's going to be more efficient, it's going to be Corey Lyles. He turned that wreck into a race lead. 10 laps to go. Aaron Schugel coming up, and he's coming with the chrome horn once again. Single digits up next. And it's going to be 9 laps to go. We head up to 142 laps on the table. Schugel, limited bobble back and forth. Can't quite get it at the turn 4 quicker than the man ahead of him. And that's that number 56 of Corey Lyles. Now it looks like Corey's going to give that inside groove away and nearly contact the JFR drivers once again working each other up the track. Mind you, if they wreck with 1 lap to go, watch out for Jake Raven and Cameron Albertson. They both could steal the championship. They are right behind, and they could make something happen quickly. 91 machine of Lyles is now, of course, going to be moved up to the high side. Aaron Schugel gets that race lead right back. Corey's going to be toe-to-toe with him at the stripe again. 8 laps left. And Schugel all of a sudden has the race lead once more. Inside groove now going to be given back to that number 91, and with it comes the top spot. He's got priority into the next set of corners, and on the inside, of course, that number 56 wants to be. He'll drive down just a little bit lower, but to no avail. Now Aaron Schugel has slightly younger rubber, and is beginning to pull away. Lyles loose. Now a 4/10 of a second deficit for him, and Schugel finds himself advantageous. 7 laps remaining. Now we saw Corey Lyles, of course, leading in the opposite position, 5 laps ago? No question that he could bring it back together, but will he? That's what remains still in jeopardy. Everyone equally spaced out in the championship 4. If you started, you're due to finish up in the top 5. It looks like now Aaron Schugel is hoping that he can be due for a victory. His last of the inaugural season and his first championship crown here with the PRA Legacy Trucks. 6 laps to go. A yellow flag still could possibly occur because look at this, Jake Raven's making moves up for second now. That time by, Raven was quicker than both drivers ahead of him. Hey, he's only going to be 5/10 off right now of Aaron Schugel, and he was a 1/10.5 quicker that time by. That's pace enough to maybe gain and maybe catch for the race win if it's sustainable. Now let's see whether or not Jake Raven's got what it takes to even make up 1 spot here, as Corey Lyles is looking to be slower and slower lap after lap and giving up more time to the leader in Aaron Schugel. 5 laps left. Drift up top, not enough to, of course, hinder the number 91, but Aaron Schugel definitely going to have to watch his mirror after that minor slide. Here now, Corey Lyles gets a nicer run. And now the gap's a 1/4 of a second again. 1 minor hiccup, 1 imperfection could change the scope of this championship all over again. Flipping it upside down would be the worst thing possible for the number 56 machine, of course, if he's the one who ends up flipped. But it doesn't mean that he can't be the one who's flipping, because Aaron Schugel here is beginning to lose ground again. And moreover, Jake Raven is putting pressure on the both of them. With 4 laps to go, Schugel is not your surefire champion yet. Don't count out Corey Lyles. Do not count out Jake Raven either. Take a look at this. Aaron Schugel overdriving the corner once again. Whether intentional or not, it does not work. Here now, Corey Lyles is near. 3 laps to go. 3 final miles, and Corey Lyles now sees the gap diminish to 15/100ths of a second. The championship comes down to this. It's a winner-take-all format, and after 148 laps, the winner is the one who can take it all with 1 push. Could be a bumper. It could be the chrome horn. It could be waiting in the wings and trying to get away. Hopefully not getting involved in a wreck here. Lyles could be aggressive. He could shove his teammate and send him around. Doesn't mean he won't, but he hasn't got enough room yet. 2 laps left on the season now. Advantage remains with a 91 of Aaron Schugel here, hoping to hang tough for the final laps of this season. Corey Lyles remains within a 1/4 of a second and has only gotten closer to the last 3 sets of corners. And it looks like as we go through 3 and 4 for the final time this time around, it looks like 1 lap left. White flag gonna fly this time through on the season. The championship comes down to this. Corey Lyles sends it deep into 1 and 2, and it looks like Aaron Schugel has just enough an advantage not to worry about it. Look at now. Schugel going up to that 3rd groove and trying to make his way out. Corey Lyles, a very similar formula, now is gaining. Coming down the back straightaway, the deficit is within 15/100ths of a second. Lyles goes deep into turn 3, tries to get a different arc and approach out of the corner, but it will not be enough. Aaron Schugel, the dominant man all season long, blocks his teammate to the line, winning the championship. The inaugural championship of the PRA Legacy Truck
Series. Schugel comes home as champ, 1/10 of a second back his JFR teammate Corey Lyles, and Jake Raven pole sitter third place to finish off the night. What a win for Schugel. Fourth then going to be Trevor Gill, Shannon Milliken fifth, Cameron Albertson sixth, then Aaron Fontaine seventh, Caden Perkins eighth. Man of the hour, Aaron Schugel, who spent 100 laps far from victory, far from any chance to come home on top. Tonight he defies the odds and he is a champion in PRA. Coming up now to celebrate with the field, the final four watching on. But the 91 of Schugel is the driver to beat. See Corey Lyles there, his teammate, pulling up. This was not just a solo effort. When you think about the success of JFR, you think Lyles, you think Schugel, and you think all the others who have been chipping, of course, pieces into the puzzle all throughout this campaign. They'll back up to the start-finish line and celebrate together again. Not just a championship for Schugel, but the team championship for the ever-powerful JFR. What a way to burn it down here in Milwaukee. Deserving celebration for the both of them after what has been a complete dominance of the field. JFR as a team has really been able to put everything together. Cash Culp, you think about Thomas Coonan early in the season, Aaron Schugel, of course, Corey Lyles alike. And tonight, I'm telling you this much, Schugel going to be celebrating this one all night long. Now, while he might be alone on track, certainly going to be an exciting time for JFR with another championship in the books and one worth remembering. Aaron Schugel gets the job done. Well, let's get a word now from all your top three drivers, and first of which, of course, the man of the hour, Aaron Schugel, your race winner. Number 91 coming out on top tonight, and let's hear it for the driver who puts it all together, winning the championship from Milwaukee, a nail-biter, back and forth, toss and turn. And Aaron, you win here in PRA, perhaps the most competitive race all season long, where anything could have gone wrong. Tonight, it goes right for you.
Yeah, just, oh my god, dude, that one was, I'm tired. That was a harsh one. We, both Corey and I thought our races were screwed at many different points of the race. That first half, the first restart, man, I'm sorry, hang on. The first restart, I jump started and I had to start from the back of the next green flag run, and I just could not get back up to Corey, and green flag pit stops started happening. I got a caution, got up to Corey, and yeah, just back and forth through that entire last quarter of the race. Seemed like the best racing I've had in a very long time, so just great racing.
And fantastic racing between you and your teammate Corey Lyles, who controlled the championship all season long. But more than that, we saw great racing from everyone else right around you. How intense was it there in those final few laps trying to hang on for the title?
It was pretty intense. I thought Corey was going to send it a bit deeper. I thought Cameron would try and do something and stuff like that. So it was just, man, that one. My right foot started shaking. Thought you know I wouldn't get it there, and yeah, just great race. Everyone was super competitive, fun mowing through the field, and yeah.
And a win for the championship here tonight, Aaron, in what might have not been your most dominant race, but perhaps your finest at that. You know, we got to talk about this season and JFR as a whole. You and Corey Lyles commanding this team to be the powerhouse of the series. Nobody else seemed to be able to compare. For you and JFR, next season for the Truck Series, do you guys intend to go back and try to go for 2 consecutive titles?
I don't know if I'm going to be returning. Fridays are a really hard day for me. I got really lucky with this whole playoff schedule. It aligned beautifully. So I think Corey may try another season, but at this point, I don't see myself competing for another PRA championship. But yeah, it's fun to, get it done in one season.
With that being said, Aaron, you come out and go out on top. Aaron Schugel getting the job done here in Milwaukee. As a champion, if you have any final thoughts you'd like to give out, any final shout-outs after a hard day's work at the office here in Milwaukee, we'd love to hear it.
Man, JFR, I mean, Trevor Huff, Spencer Morris, Corey Lyles, everybody just, they're such good people. Cash Culp, Fast Gas Racing Products, Corey as a whole, just, racing with me there. We were trading strategies, Impact Safety Gear and ORW.
And there we have it. Aaron Schugel getting the job done tonight here from the Milwaukee Mile. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Schugel on the way, just a few tenths behind, really just a few hundredths tonight. Corey Lyles, oh so close, and yet not enough. The 56 comes home second in the race and the championship as well. Corey, oh so close to the championship, but nevertheless a wonderful race for you. How are you feeling after this one?
Yeah, good win to Aaron. P2 in the race, P2 in the championship. Yeah, it was a good race. Could have won a little better, but oh well.
And tonight, those final 50 laps were perhaps the difference maker for you after dominantly opening up this stretch. How was it in those last laps, in particular, managing what seemed to be some of the most competitive racing we've seen all throughout this season?
Yeah, I just didn't have a short run car, I guess. And that was obviously seen. Just absolutely got thrown out of the water with that the 91 car. It's had a more short run pace. Definitely, car was definitely built for that long run. That's why it did so good on that long run. I really wish that caution didn't come out. Probably would be sitting first, but I mean, oh well. Got second. JFR teammate got first, so that's what matters.
And you mentioned that JFR coming out with that team championship. Above all else, getting the job done for the team. It looks like Corey, Aaron's saying he's not going to perhaps come back and go out for a championship again, but you think you're going to try to go out there and find your first title next season?
It depends on where this league goes. So maybe not. I'm not 100% sure yet.
But with that being said, checkered flag, of course, coming out tonight in Milwaukee, finishing off an inaugural season full of success here. Corey Lyles, second place. If you have any last comments or any final shout-outs you'd like to give, we'd love to hear it.
Yep. Shout out to all of JFR and Beckman Designs.
And there we have it. Corey Lyles, P2 on the day here from Milwaukee, and P2 in the inaugural Legacy Truck Championship. Thank you for your time again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, final man on the order that we're going to speak to, Jake Raven, who is the underdog of the season and almost came out there leading a few laps across the day and just a few tenths back on what could have been. Jake, third tonight, and it looks like P3 in the championship with it. You put on perhaps your best race of the season out of nowhere.
It's a technical track. It's a difficult track. You got to really stay focused, so you don't burn up those front tires and you don't spin out on exit. I put a lot of practice into this track, and it felt good. The guys were racing real tough, and but yeah, I felt like I performed really well, and hope we put on a good show.
Well, first and foremost, that practice showed with how you ran in qualifying, getting the pole position to open up the night, and you got it there by convincing margin at the end, improving on those first 2 laps. You had speed. That was for certain. What about Milwaukee came alive to you to get up to that point?
Oh, just because I know this is such a difficult track, and I personally have a grudge with it. There's just always something that it brings you down when at least me when I race here. It's so tough, and I just wanted to make sure that I put the effort in to be able to keep it going and know that I was going to finish strong. A few hours is what it took, and it seems like that's what you need to not really fall back from the front, though.
Looks like tonight you kept yourself in the mix until the very, very end. Were you expecting perhaps a wreck in front of you between the teammates? I mean, we've seen they're not afraid to do it for race victories, but I was wondering if you would have wondered yourself, would they have gone for it? And if they were going to go for it, were you expecting perhaps an incident?
I was hoping. I wasn't expecting, but I know Aaron, I think it was Aaron, got loose behind Corey once, and I was thinking maybe Corey was going to push a little hard into turn 3 on that final lap and get that 4-tire slide going on, and that would allow me to scooch by on the inside for second place, but it seemed like they were able to keep it together, and I just had to settle for the 3rd place, which kind of really seems fitting for the end of the playoffs.
And where you've been all throughout the season, 3rd championship standings, 3rd place finish here tonight, Jake. I guess with that being said, are you coming back to keep your 3rd place title for next season in the PRA Truck Series?
Well, I'm going to mount that 3rd place on the wall, and I'm going to try to put a 2nd place or 1st place next to it. I hope I don't have repeat 3rd places again, so I'm going to give it a little bit more next season.
That being said, Jake Raven getting the job done, race victory, oh so close to it, and a pole position, laps led, top 3 finish to finish off the season. If you have any final thoughts or shout-outs you'd like to give, Jake, we'd love to hear it.
Just, it was a tough season. There was a lot of learning going on. Props to all the people who kept it going, kept racing, a lot of conversations going. PRA, Thomas, all the people watching, you, of course, making it entertaining even in the dull moments. Girlfriend for always cheering me on and really bringing that 3rd place into my life now. And everybody else that you didn't see, but kind of worked in the back to help it go along.
There we have it. Jake Raven, P3 on the day here from the virtual Milwaukee Mile. We thank you once again for your time.
Thanks, David.
Now with Raven on the move, that's a word from your top 3 drivers, not only in the podium, but in the championship. 3rd in points today comes Jake Raven. 2nd in points comes Corey Lyles, and Aaron Schugel gets it done. Burning down the house, as you see on screen, winner and champion from the Milwaukee Mile. What a win! And of course, what a race. The most competitive we saw all season long, and it came down to the final lap for the championship. We're hoping to come back next year, of course, next season, with the Prodigy Racing Association Truck Series once more, and we'd love to have you along the journey with us here for the rest of our future with PRA on FTN. I've been David Troitz, commentating and producing all of tonight's action tonight, and you've been watching the Championship 150 from the virtual Milwaukee Mile. Prodigy Racing Association is free to enter. Visit discord.gg/PRA if you'd like to join. And if you want to join any FTN broadcasted league, scan the QR code on your screen right now and make sure to check out the broadcasted leagues tab of our official Discord. We'd love to have you join the fun here on FTN as a driver, and we hope to see a little bit more of all these drivers in next season, as we hope to bring back the Legacy Truck Series for Season 2 to PRA on FTN. Thank you all for tuning in tonight and watching our coverage all throughout the season here for the Prodigy Racing Association and FTN Broadcasting. I've been David Troitz. We hope to see you next season, and we additionally hope you have a fantastic night.